Hello everyone and welcome to the light at the end of the Mineshaft. This is a part 2 to Minecraft the Dying of the Night, but you by no means have to watch it in order to understand this one. Last time we looked at Minecraft's numerous flaws to really understand why Minecraft isn't as popular as it once was. This time we'll be taking a more positive approach, as we attempt to fix the game both on paper and in practice. By the end of this video I'm hoping everyone will be able to make Minecraft a better experience for themselves. With that, let's begin. What is Minecraft good at? Forget best at, it's not best for anything anymore. It's good at the exact same thing it was 7 years ago, back when the game had focus. It's good at mining and crafting. But how do you make mining and crafting better? You add more things to mine and more things to craft. Even more ways of doing those things. Carefully. Very, very carefully. We know this, but you know who else knows this? Modders. PC modders. Everyone and their second favourite dodo knows Tekkit. A pack of mods expanding the progression from go dig for resources to make a better version of what you use to dig for resources so you can go dig it all again, then hit a brick wall of pointlessness and boredom after diamond. 2. Go dig for resources, build a machine to double your output, a solar panel to reduce coal consumption, a nuclear reactor, perhaps a quarry so I don't have to dig for them. Build a suit of power armor or a black hole launching missile. Build a god-killing destruction catalyst to carve through the world like it's nothing. No longer does any major progression halt the moment you get 3 diamonds. Now, not only is there more resources, but things to do with them. Things! Reasons to play. The systems of wires and pipes force you to build once more. Tekkit still lacks any reason to progress, no bosses. That's because it's meant for competitive multiplayer. You know when Tekkit came out? 2011, the same year Minecraft came out. A total expansion of the mechanics of the game, more content than the base game squared, took modders 2 years, if you assume they started development the same day Minecraft did. Since Tekkit, there have been a myriad of mod packs that changed the game in their own ways. Exit takes a dungeon crawling approach. Big Dig encourages mining above all else, and the York's Complete pack allows so many paths of progression it would take months to go through them all. Farming, mining, space travel, and everything from Tekkit combined into one pack. The amount of crafting recipes alone for the hundreds upon hundreds of machines and gear could fill a book. Of course, the question is now, there might be much in the way of quantity, but what about the quality? Well, here we run into problems. The nature of mod packs means that balancing the rate of progression for each mod can be a nightmare. If I were to go into industrial craft, for example, the time it takes me to go from wood to diamonds might be a damn lot longer than if I were to simply build an energy condenser from equivalent exchange and use it to make diamonds from dirt. You could just download one mod, not the entire pack, but you'd sacrifice huge amounts of content, and a lot of these mods rely on each other. This is why, despite the mod packs increasing the playtime and likely the enjoyment you get from Minecraft, I just can't bring myself to get into them. Due to everything being new, and the fact that nothing is tutorialized, these packs can get away with being completely unbalanced. Though, I don't want to rule out mods as a whole, because there's one or two which take a small aspect of Minecraft and help them realize their full potential, which I say in the knowledge of how I sound like that old man from every movie ever. The first of these is Mo Creatures. What does it do? Well, it adds 60 great new mobs, including the shockingly in-depth horses. The mod was created in 2010, before Minecraft even came out, and it did horses so much better than Mojang did in 2013. So what made Mo Creatures horses good? The variety, and the way you get them. Like vanilla, you begin by looking for a horse, giving it a saddle, taming it, then riding it back home. You want to do this for a few horses, so immediately you need a large complex of stables for the tens of unique horses you'll be breeding. With just the need for space, Mo Creatures gives players a reason to actually build something in survival. There are 4 tiers of horses. Each tier is faster/stronger than the one preceding it. Tier 1s breed into Tier 2s and so on. After Tier 4 there is no Tier 5, but instead a myriad of fantastical combinations to breed 35 horses in total. And the progression from Harry the Horse to Azathoth God of Gods is brilliantly done. The first stage is to breed your way up from Tier 1s or 2s in the wild to Tier 4, which requires a lot of space, building, organisation, and horses. The reason we needed a Tier 4 is because we can only tame a zebra while riding one. The zebra can be bred with any horse to make a Zorse, stage 2. With this, the breeding gets really exciting. Crafted with a Heart of Darkness from a wild zombie or skeleton horse, an ender pearl and a glass bottle, the essence of darkness will turn a Zorse into a flying bat horse. The essence of fire turns it into a nightmare which leads a trail of fire as you ride. There's also unicorns, 2 types of Pegasus, 9 different types of fairy horses, ghost horses, pack mules, and even skeleton horses. This single line of progression is one of the most involving and fun things you can do in Minecraft. It's not too easy and by no means too hard, and it rewards the players with amounts of gods, not just aesthetically. It requires building, exploration, and combat. There's no reason whatsoever to not have Mo creatures installed. All it had to do was take one aspect of Minecraft and improve. This approach to modding works infinitely better than attempting to add entirely new aspects to the game. Let's look at another example. It's called the Aether. It's the counterpart to the Nether, and better in every way. With a new skybox and textures, the atmosphere is sold as soon as you get in. Name a part of Minecraft, it's expanded on in the Aether. Mining, there are new resources to mine for, including the gravity-defying gravitite. Exploration, procedurally generated floating islands. Combat, 3 new dungeons, each with new bosses, mobs, and loot. The bosses have interesting mechanics, as do the mobs, and the loot is not only awesome, but it's well distributed, unlike vanilla. There's armor that'll let you walk on water, rarer armor that'll let you fly. Mobs, flying cows, and tameable mowers. This mod does everything right, it's just more content, and most of it is more polished than anything we've seen in the base game. There are no disadvantages to having this mod installed, again, it's just the next area. Something more to do, something fun to do. In the Aether, I see what Minecraft could have been. It's no surprise then that the Aether seems very similar to another game like Minecraft. Mining, boss fights, hilarious mobs, thematic visuals. Terraria. In order to determine what other games are doing better than Minecraft, let's do a very short comparison. Minecraft does dungeon crawling. There's the Woodland Mansion, the Ocean Monument, and the Stronghold. None of them have any worthwhile loot, only one of them has interesting enemies, and all 3 fail to provide any reason to go through them again after the first time, since the random generation is so limited. Terraria does it better. There's the dungeon, the jungle, hell, the crimson corruption. We didn't count the nether fortresses of the end cities in the Minecraft tally, so we won't include the Hallow or the floating islands. All of those dungeons have chests filled with items with unique properties. All have varied enemies with good AI, and all have at least one well-designed boss fight. The jungle has 3, who all have their own loot tables filled with even more unique weapons, tools, items, and armor. What can we learn from this? That not only does Minecraft not provide enough dungeons, but that the loot in them are completely unsatisfying. I'm glad then that we just covered the Aether, because that mod alone provides 3 great dungeons with good loot and boss fights. It proves Minecraft is capable of having this level of quality in a 3D procedurally generated world. Minecraft does combat. Terraria does it better. In Minecraft you can swing the exact same type of sword, with only damage and durability changing as you progress. You're also able to shoot a bow. There are enchantments that can increase damage and durability, add fire attacks, and increase the amount of loot you get from killing any mob. The mobs themselves are basic though. Zombies rush you, creepers rush you, spiders rush you, and skeletons shoot you. The Endermen are the only exception to this trend. There are 2 bosses. The Wither is passable, but the Ender Dragon is laughably bad. In Terraria, you find, craft, or win great swords, short swords, broadswords, bows, crossbows, handguns, shotguns, miniguns, cannons, flails, yo-yos, and spears. I think that's all of them. Oh wait, no, and boomerangs and harpoons. And each of them can change from there. Modifiers change base stats, items change damage types, grant immunities, increase stats across the board, and give completely new abilities like flight and double jumping. Mobs are more varied in both appearance and movesets, though to be fair I imagine this was far easier to achieve given the 2D environment. Bosses is where Terraria completely tips the scales though. They look far better, their AI is better, most have multiple phases, and the loot they drop is not only creative but actually rewarding. 2-0 to Terraria. Once again, some Minecraft mods have done this to an extent. Tinkerer's Workshop allows you to create multiple types of swords which each have a unique attack. It's by no means on Terraria's level, but it's a start. Simply having some small variation in the weapon you use would make the few zombies you do fight in the mines over a playthrough so much less of a chore. When I see a zombie approaching in Minecraft, I just sigh, go over, click 3 times and leave. In Terraria you might fly, grapple or walk, you might shoot or swing. It's not exactly Dark Souls, but it's varied enough to be fun. It even has the potential to be challenging, as proven by the boss fights. The other two categories of comparison are crafting and building. I can't see a clear winner in either category. Minecraft's crafting is unique, you draw what you want to craft. The 3x3 window puts a firm cap on the complexity of the things you can craft though, so chances are you've made what you wanted to make 100 times over. And because of this, the already low number of crafting recipes become a chore rather than an evolving activity. Terraria's crafting system is far more basic. There's a drop-down list of everything you can craft with the materials in your inventory, and that tends to be much less immersive than what Minecraft does. But it also means there's no limit on the number of crafting recipes available. Considering Terraria's fast pace in such stark contrast to Minecraft, I think the respective crafting system matches the game and the Terraria system wouldn't be as effective in Minecraft. So, stalemate. Now on to building. Surely Minecraft wins here, right? Yes, but only in creative and only because of its 3D nature. Obviously, having a 3D world allows for infinitely more creativity, which is great if you're only building something to look at. In Terraria, building with the game's intuitive block and wall system is properly encouraged. You need to build those houses for NPCs, you need to be able to defend your home adequately against the invasions of various armies and bosses, and most of all, you need to be able to defend your land against the spread of corruption, or Crimson, and the Hallow. In Minecraft, yes, you can build more, but there's never any reason to. Beds negate all mobs, so only a fraction of the player base will ever find themselves needing or wanting to build in survival. Furthermore, the overworld is totally static, there are no events like a blood moon or an invasion of some kind. So Minecraft has an inherent advantage over Terraria but chooses not to use it. But as we've seen from Mo Creatures, it is entirely capable of encouraging building in the same way as Terraria. That wasn't the final category. No, there's a secret fifth one, and there's a reason this one's secret, because it is disappointing. Mining. Save the best till last, right? And this is the category that I should be able to confidently say that Minecraft wins in, but I can't. The 3D world of Minecraft allows the procedurally generated cave systems to be far more complex, and as such far more enjoyable to explore. That's not to mention the vastly increased immersion you get from a first-person perspective, which makes the act of clicking to mine somewhat less tedious. Terraria's caves are fun, and certainly much better looking than Minecraft, but the restrictions of 2D makes exploring them feel the same after doing it for more than a few hours. The greatest advantage Terraria has though is scale. In Minecraft it's 64 blocks down and that's it. Despite the blocks being far smaller relative to your character, over 2,000 of them from top to bottom means there's a far longer progression curve. It takes a long ass time to get from the surface to the underworld, tens of hours if you explore all the caves you break into. Enemies will become stronger, resources will become more plentiful as you go down. Terraria keeps you digging far longer than Minecraft does. Minecraft's progression curve from start to finish takes anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, as all you have to do is dig a stair mine down to layer 12 and start strip mining. From there, enchanting and brewing is all that's left, and as we've established, the bosses are pointless in Minecraft. Mods expand on this by adding new resources and recipes requiring them, but even they can't overcome the limits of a 64-layer underground. It was satisfactory in alpha, but 7 years later it's simply nowhere near enough. Unlike combat and building, which just need expansion, mining needs to be completely exploded. So after all that searching, I've come up with what I think would make Minecraft great again. At least triple the layer limit from 64 to 192 and relocate diamonds to the lowest 16 layers so it remains the most valuable resource. To close the gap, there needs to be a wider variety of materials. From iron there could be silver, which might be easier to enchant with anti-monster effects, lead for surviving in the radioactive lower layers, titanium for increased blast resistance, sapphire, ruby, and emerald for cosmetics, and maybe some kind of enchanting ritual. Like Terraria, holding down mouse 1 and placing torches in caves needs to be broken up with dungeons. Spiders' nests, better abandoned mine shafts with much more interesting loot, perhaps some kind of Enderman cult gathering thing? Like Terraria, biomes should affect both surface and the underground. Deserts would have caves made entirely of sandstone with unique enemies and loot, same with snow and jungle. Having resources unique to a particular biome would effectively encourage exploration. I also think that it would be better to just outright copy Terraria's idea of having hell at the lowest level. Instead of nether portals, it would actually be in the world, with some more interesting ores, a much higher spawn rate on mobs, and maybe another boss or two to fight. This would not only give a satisfactory end to the layer limit rather than bedrock, but it would also make the nether as daunting as the look suggests it should be. I would also suggest installing the Aether mod. It adds at least 4 hours of content, and that's if you're rushing it, which is more than can be said for the Nether and the Overworld. The bosses in the Aether alone would give a point to the end cities. Speaking of installing mods, Mo creatures would also be nothing but good. Horse breeding would give a reason to build something in survival mode, even if having a house that is 90% stable might be a little bit ridiculous. Combat simply needs variety. Straight off the bat, you should be able to poison your sword. Crafting other types of weapons would be incredibly difficult in the 3x3 workbench, so you could perhaps use existing tools as the crafting ingredients for new ones. Woodland mansions and ocean monuments need their loot tables completely changed so you don't end up trekking for hours and then fighting through a dungeon to only be rewarded with 8 gold blocks. The end's difficulty needs to account for the addition of new content between the Nether and it, so it remains the endgame area. The Ender Dragon needs a complete AI redesign, giving it one effective attack is ridiculous as a final boss. With the addition of new content, experience will be a lot easier to accumulate, and so Enchanting's XP cost can stay as it is. Brewing would experience a similar effect. If the player has motivation to go out and do things, they'll naturally come by the brewing ingredients instead of having to grind for them. I think we've covered everything now, but there are a few more mods I'd like to address. Pam's Harvest Craft expands on the farming aspect of the game significantly, which not only encourages the construction of farms, orchards and paddies, but also rewards the player with increasingly effective food items as you progress, which can be very useful in fights. DecoCraft does what you'd expect, it adds more decoration, something to put Minecraft on the level of Terraria in that regard. And finally, bring back Herobrine. The very concept of a demonic entity stalking you for a world in which you are the only conscious being. You are not alone. This is a horror writer's wet dream. But how best to implement it? I have a few ideas. The scariest thing about Herobrine is the idea that he stalks you, so keep that. Program his AI such that he hides round corners, randomly pops up in front of windows. Force him to disappear after a set amount of time to give the impression that you saw him out the corner of your eye. And most importantly, give him a point. Herobrine might only begin appearing to foreshadow the coming of some kind of event, a boss, an invasion or something. I think on a given night having monsters spawn at 3 times their normal rate and having the player always be detected would force players to build fortifications and revert back to the practical designs of Alpha. The frequency at which these events occur would need to be balanced. Too many and the player is always on edge, too few and the benefits of such an event disappear. Perhaps a castle spawns on that same night that you have to fight through and kill Herobrine at the top in a ridiculously tough boss battle, which stops hostile mobs from spawning forever. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think Herobrine needs to be honoured, and I genuinely believe his implementation could benefit the game. And with that, I think I'm done. Minecraft needs more content, and while I doubt we'll ever see any changes to the layer limit, you guys at home can at least install some of the mods I listed and have a reasonable experience with the game. Is this cheating? Yes, of course it is. No developer should be able to stand on the merit of their game's mods, and only PC players will ever get to experience them. But after 7 years, it's better than nothing. Perhaps Minecraft isn't dying. I don't think it ever will die, and Mojang are lucky to have such a passionate, hard-working community. They're lucky to have an infinitely replenishing community as kids are born. But it is withering, decaying. The game isn't getting worse, but it isn't getting better, and that's not enough to sustain the interest of gamers. I think it's time to lay Minecraft to rest now. I very much hope you enjoyed or learnt something from this series, and I hope you'll stick around for the next one. With that, it's time to end. I'll see you guys next time.